So in today's video, we're going to be returning to the Big Book of Drawing, to the final section, or the final book, which is Fast Sketching Techniques. And this is the section that I'm really excited about. Overall, I just like the look and the style that you get from fast sketching. You know, it's looser because it has to be. You don't put in all the hours to make the drawing. You know, it's done very quickly. But I like the look of it. You know, it's a personal style thing. Yes, this is the author, David Rankin. Just giving you a little bit of his story. See, these don't look like fast sketches. These look like more in-depth studies. And this is definitely not a sketch. This is a drawing. I guess one of the things that's always interested me about art is how much information can be relayed with minimal, marks, essentially. Like, we get that this is a cheetah, right? I like the expression on this guy's face. See, in this drawing here, with the ducks, took about 40 hours. So, same subject, I think. Maybe not. But here's a more in-depth drawing. You can see he's gone way into detail, as much as possible, it seems. And then here it's just a feeling, Some more examples. I don't know if this is supposed to be the... Okay, it's not the same person. These are two different people. Let's see, something like this. It gets the message across. These are most likely women. It says they're a village of women in southern India, and they're carrying something in a big bowl or basket on their head. more examples. See, and I'm not sure if so these are all different birds, right? But I think, when we look at stuff like this, some of us tend to think that it's someone who maybe doesn't have a lot of artistic skill. But I think the more of these that you do, you'll be able to achieve more accurate results faster. See, and then you have these, I think they call them thumbnail sketches. I think this is only 5 inches. Not actually on this page, right? But the original. No, that doesn't make sense. 5 inches. Well, I guess I could. I'm not sure. But the purpose is that you limit the space that you're drawing in, and you force yourself not to go super into detail and drawing. You're just focusing in on a subject, an idea, really. And from that you can get composition down and what you really want to focus on. Different drawing tools. Get charcoal, pencil, China marker. Dang, this is a 9B. So all the 9B means is that it's really soft and can get really dark, can lay down a lot of lead. So that's crazy. Like, I've seen 6Bs. All these are 6Bs that he's using. Okay, that's good to know. These are just different 6Bs. A lot of information. Seen here, I guess he's Derek says he's practicing from a photograph. Because normally this fast sketching is when you're, out and about, and animals or people are moving, or you have to deal with real world conditions that are always changing, right? Using cameras. I think that the idea is that you use the fast sketching technique to get the composition and the subject and the overall idea down. and then you back it up with pictures so that you can do more detailed stuff later. More examples. See, in here he's visiting different landmarks around the world. How can I increase my sketching speed? I guess practice. There's different kinds of birds. You know, I said it in one of the other videos, but if you're really serious about drawing, you can never really say that there's nothing for you to draw, or that you didn't know what to draw, because there's plenty of stuff that you should be filling your visual library with. You know, you should literally be drawing everything, right? The 3 basics of fast sketching: black line work, blending tool, and then whites. Okay. Seems simple enough. Every image can be simplified. Here he just does the outline. And here he just adds a little more detail. These are two separate drawings. Yeah, so here's like an exercise. Do fast outline first. Okay, so this goes really into depth. And he's actually got exercises for you to do, things to build up your skill and your technique. Okay, and on the landscapes. This is good. Sketch what attracts you. Omit 90% of the detail. Use 3 or 4 value tops. Okay. Sketch for mood and work fast. Right there. Sounds like very good suggestions. Oh, I like the look of this one. This one looks like watercolor. Yep, it's watercolor, gray watercolor. I really like the look of that one. Some more examples. This says that more than 50% of these sketches were done with the blending tool itself. That's interesting. We used the blending tool to lay down the basic shapes, and this came back with the pencil. Take your sketchbook on vacations. Here he's saying he used the blending tool by itself to make these waves. It's a really good tip. I didn't even think about that. Wow, I really like the way the watercolor looks. Make sure that's coming through. I think that might be my favorite. It's so bright. Actually, you guys can see that. This bottom one is it's watercolor. You're gonna have to get into watercolor. There's a ton of information in this book. This looks like this was done digitally. A value study. Yeah, okay. So this was done digitally. And he did that just so I can get the values, like the darkest darks and the whitest whites. Some more examples. Simplify values. I'm not sure why I'm so drawn to this kind of artwork. You know, I think it just, the more detailed drawings, they're very impressive. But I feel like this has, I don't know, it's almost like it has more energy in it. Less refined, but more energetic. Okay, so here's another one where he's digitally I guess simplified it. Just get the basic values. Here's his brushes that he uses for watercolor. Here's another watercolor study. Not sure if it's done in black and white. The other one said that he used gray. Some more examples. Guess this is the Taj Mahal. Yep. More examples. Is that the Vatican? There's tons of examples. I have to go back and actually read all this information. Some more examples again. Okay, so here's the one we saw in the beginning. Gandalas. See, and this is the thing about fast sketching, right? Like, for instance, these are most likely going to stay there long enough for you to draw them. But like in this picture, this drawing, that boat is moving. And these people is no guarantee that they're going to stay there for your drawing, right? Same thing here. So this is going to stay there, but capture moving things. Now we move on to people. See, like that, if you've ever watched a pitcher throw a pitch like this, I guess you could look at a like a baseball card or something. But to catch that like in the moment, freeze frame sketches. Okay. We can see why they put this one last in this collection of books. This one sort of seems to stand on its own in terms of the information. And it probably does help for you to have all of the previous information from the other books and have practiced that stuff. Again, just a ton of information. So start with what you enjoy. Things that interest you. Okay, or not. Work with the camcorder. Oh, that's interesting. Guess you could practice on like movies and shows as well, right? I didn't even think about that. Okay. Some more examples. Matt Lauer and Katie Couric. So I did look to see if this book is on Amazon. And this specific book is no longer in print. But one of the authors who wrote one of the other books in this series, they wrote another big book of drawing, and so that's what'll come up. It doesn't have the same number of pages, but I bet you that the information is still pretty good in them, and it's updated. It's 2018, I believe. So it's about the same information, just repackaged. Maybe some other hints and tips. This is Ally McBeal. Does anybody remember that show? I think this is supposed to be Lucy Liu. So yeah, drawing from TV shows and movies. I didn't even think about that. I just think of like not court reporter, but like a artist who draws during like courtroom drawing, I guess. Okay, so letting you know what to begin with. The thing is to remember is that this particular artist, he knows the fundamentals. This isn't his starting point in terms of skill level. He's probably pretty advanced when it comes down to sitting down and actually doing like a proper drawing. So when you're seeing like the expressions, the eyes and the proportions and the placement, and it's probably pretty accurate, but he has got probably tons of hours into drawing various things, right? His visual library is probably massive. So, drawing something like this, two little girls very quickly, it's probably much easier for him than a beginner. More examples. Telling you where to start. It's so funny because it looks like it would be easier, but I feel like if you started with this instead of the fundamentals, it would be challenging. For instance, like with this, you know that from the previous books, you can use the head by itself to tell how tall somebody is and to accurately portray their height based solely off the size of their head. And then with things like the face, you can take a landmark like an eye, and from that eye, get a general idea of how wide and how long the face is. Okay, or you can turn. There we go. See, in animals, this is... If you thought that human beings are going to be tricky. Go to a zoo and try drawing, yeah. Does that come through? I guess you can kind of see this. Looks like it's done with watercolor. More examples. He guides you through the process, though. Again, there's just this whole book is packed with good information. Go back and read it. More watercolor, more pencil. I feel like he already told us that with this, he used the blending tool. These pages are being difficult. And then an insect. You know how quick they move. Combining basic shapes. These are done by children. If you can see that. Not sure if he wants you to follow along with his drawing or. Again, I think they did a good job placing this book last. This looks like a kangaroo over here. It's definitely a lion. I think doing these little blocks and doing essentially like a thumbnail sketching, that'll be very helpful. Again, look at these examples. You know, you get like a feel, you know, just from these very basic lines and basic shading. Or at least I should say I do. I'm not sure if you guys do. I suspect you do. Look at this guy. See, I feel like these are, you know, you're getting into like gesture drawing, which, you know, is its own very challenging thing. So if you're a beginner and your fast sketches don't look like this, I wouldn't be too worried. This page is getting a little tight. Fast in crowds. Again, watercolor. Two different mediums, pencil and watercolor. Think fast and improvise. Again, there's a ton of information in here. These pages are being wonky. Good old elephant butt. So another thing is that when you do your little thumbnail sketches, you can figure out, what has more interest, or what pose is more interesting, right? I guess you could get a lot of good ideas. Or rather, you can get a lot of bad ideas out of the way if we spend a lot of time on it. Again, using a camcorder. Guessing he recorded it running or walking. Birds flying. I also have like all those nature shows and nature videos on YouTube. I guess pretty much almost anything is on YouTube. And this is transparent watercolor. 18 by 24, that's pretty good size. Sketching to remember later, so again, like an idea, or I guess you would call it a mood. And you can recreate it later in finer detail. It's so weird, in a book of drawing, I'm growing fonder and fonder of watercolor. Look at these. I think almost to the end. Wow, look at that. Just make sure you guys can see that. This is also done in watercolor. Oh, these both are done in watercolor. I have to put that on the list. Things to learn. Let's see, he did all of these, essentially these quick drawings, quick sketches. Get the ideas. I guess that's it. Yep. So to recap, the Big Book of Drawing, I can close it, has more than enough information for you to begin with, and then get pretty difficult and technical with your drawings. And unfortunately, they no longer make this version of the book, but they do make a different version, and it's the same publishing company, North Light Books. You can see that. And it does have one of the artists slash authors. I can close this. Without making too much noise. And like I said, I got it for $3. And that's a steal, because the information in this book is well worth it. I can't personally vouch for the new one, but I suspect it's just as good in terms of value and being worth it. Well, thanks for joining me, guys, and I hope you have a good one. Till the next one.